Did you have a set amount of time you meditated every day for some time? Yes. I think I used to meditate for maybe 3 or 4 years, like 3 hours a day. And then after that, I used to meditate, but it was just not set time. It would just be sitting there meditating. Question. Don't our Western society reward, encourage suppressing emotions? Yes, Larry, they do. Totally. Everybody is constantly saying, don't tell me your truth. Totally. Most of Western society, except if you've been through lots of therapy, is about suppressing yourself. This is one thing, like a lot of you aren't English, but if you are British or English, sorry, I should have said British, you might have heard about this whole royal family scandal about Prince Harry, writing a book and doing these documentary series, and how disturbed the English people are about this happening. And I actually think it's really beautiful. I can understand, like, in our society and the way it's currently set up, like having a figurehead people find helpful to focus on, and it sort of gives us rituals. And so I can see the benefits of having this figurehead that stays neutral to politics and opinions. But it's like a really fascinating institution. And the royal family, to me, as somebody that's been brought up in Britain, and as somebody who was brought up with parents that were very divided on it, my dad being from Scotland, who's anti-royalist, which is often the case, and my mum being English, very, very pro-royal, very pro-royal. And to me, like what royalty, or what this notion, it was like, suck it up and just get on. So it's like this whole representation, to me, this is my projection, I'm not saying the way it is, but it was like, don't say anything, you just get up and you just get on with your work and you never say anything. Like it's like this whole tough upper lip. Like you don't say anything, you just do things. And like lots of denial, and this like society, which I was semi-brought up in, that's very posh. I was also not brought up in that. My parents were very, 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 very different, and I'm from very different classes. And I always felt mentally uncomfortable in these like posh society where you had like all these forks that you had to eat with and wear certain clothes and do certain things. I kind of felt like this fakeness that would come over. So the royal family, even though they don't mean to represent that, and they also represent lots of good things, to me it's like the stiff upper lip, this kind of like button it, don't say anything, and you just pretend and you just get through it. And I even think that that's like kind of like stay calm and carry on, like that's part of their slogan. And what Prince Harry's done is he's like written a book and done some documentary stuff that talk about really personal things and remind us of his humanity. I think the last 5 years he's been going through intense therapy, so he's like really gone introspective and talking about emotions and feelings and how it made him feel walking behind his mother's coffin when she died, and like being a prince. And what I think is really beautiful about it is it's kind of like taking off these masks, and people are deeply uncomfortable with it. Like him and Meghan Markle are really hated in the United Kingdom because they're doing this. They're exposing, this traditional way of not saying anything, and they're saying everything. And that's got problems with it, and we can go into all the problems with it. But there's also a fascinating thing which is happening in our psyche of that there is no perfect family. There is no this royal that's better than you. There is none of that. Like we all have these emotions and we all have these feelings, and all of us are constantly being taught to suppress them and try to act like we're perfect and we are a particular way that fits in with everyone else, rather than expressing how we feel and what's going on, and looking into the nature of existence. Because just being somebody that has feelings is also weird, but none of us ever talk about that in regular society. It's like, zip it, let's pretend this is all really normal. Me, off we go to work, drink a cup of tea, eat us up lunch, put it down, watch a bit of TV. where it's not really normal. It's like so random that we're alive and that we're here and that we can think and that we're interacting. So there's like so many things that we don't ask questions about. You know, it's like we're given this idea of God in Christian society. You gotta be good and otherwise you'll be judged. I mean, that's a freaking weird idea. In order to go to something called heaven. So, yeah, society is constantly, like most social gatherings you'll go to, it's like being emotional or being aware of your emotions or being aware of what you feel and being authentically yourself or being more authentic to your truth and being aware of your seeking energy and putting the attention back into the I am, you are an absolute weirdo outsider. Most people don't want to have anything to do with that. People that come here have often got to their limit of being able to take it, or there's just like a natural call to something more authentic. Like every human is playing a game of being the best possible human they can be, or the worst possible human they can be, dependent on the way they've been conditioned, or interchanging. And these games all have subdivisions, like looking for your mother, looking for your father in relationships, trying to be impressive, trying to seek for help, trying to be passive aggressive, release emotions, get one up. Like everybody has got hidden gender on the human level because they're all seeking for love in interaction. Not only are they seeking it in homes, in money, in children, they're also seeking it in relationships. There's all these weird dynamics that are going on with other humans. The only way that you can really love another human is to be present with them. Is to really, like, to not be identified, to know who you truly are and see them as the consciousness which is watching.